can resume.
Okay.
And thank you for that reminder because yesterday I was a little delayed.
Oh,
So
no, Tara, I just want to make sure I'm looking in the right spots.
yeah,
So if
you're
we
good.
go into the ASDAC folder and we don't see the agenda and the link to the meeting there, then we can go over to the website where the agenda and the link will be.
I always post on the website as a priority because that's the public facing, so meeting our FOIA requirements. So it's always posted on the website first. I will get the folders in Teams updated. Um, Only the members have access to that Teams link, so that doesn't qualify
Okay.
us for the public facing. So with everything going on with session over the last couple of weeks, the Teams folders are a little unorganized. So I will work over the week to get that updated, but it's always on the website. So the website should be the first place you look.
The website is the
Yeah.
first place to look.
And you should
Okay.
have a calendar invite too, because there should be, because I send the calendar invite
Oh,
to
we
all of
always
the
forget. Yes,
to all the members.
that's right. I think that is in my, yes, they are in my calendar too.
Okay.
Okay, they did link up to my Google Calendar. Okay. All right, I see.
You're all good. And if you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm
All
happy to
right.
resend it.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I'm just making sure everybody else knows that if the calendar, if the invite is not in your Google Calendar or if you don't use that, then you can always go to the website and check there for the Zoom link and the agenda. And then this ASDAC folder we have in the um OPM ASDAC, what is that called? A channel
It's a
or a,
Teams.
oh, a
Yeah.
Teams? Okay, an
Yep.
in Teams. Okay. Okay. So here we are.
I do have trouble. I actually tried to get into that folder this morning and it's not working. I ended up in some other state agency committee that I'm involved in. So I
Oh,
might have to
okay.
reset it or something.
So
Or I can try to resend the
Okay.
join link, but
hmm
I am seeing that you posted comments on the folder.
Yeah, I got there. I got to the path. The path
Okay.
that I took to get there was the hyperlink in the email, not
Okay.
by just accessing the Teams channel.
so
So
Toby, what I'm noticing, I've been like playing around with it a little bit. If in the top right corner, I have a little circle with an M, like, so that
mhm.
must be my like account or something like that. And next to it, it says State of Connecticut. And
Yeah, I
then
tried to do that. I tried to
oh, you
access data.
tried that.
Yeah, but I
Okay.
ended up in a different group that I'm part of with a different agency in the state.
Okay.
So,
Because then, yeah, I was able to click because I have one that says like personal and one that says State of Connecticut. So then I
yeah,
can go, and that's where I've learned now, like if I have to join another Teams, I have to log out of the State of Connecticut
yes,
one
yep.
and then go into the personal one for it to allow me to use Teams on my computer.
Same issue. It's just I'm
It's a,
involved in other groups, so there must be sub team channels
oh
in the
my,
state agency teams, I think. I don't
yeah.
know, but I have a different one, but I don't have this particular one. So I'll just try to reset it afterwards so we don't have to talk about it now.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Thank you
No,
though.
well, I think it just helps so because I think we're all trying to learn this Teams yeah. Trying to learn how to navigate it. So, yeah, I don't know if there's a tutorial somewhere I can watch, but
Maybe. Yeah.
I really should look it up on YouTube and try to figure it out because it's a little overwhelming, but okay. All righty. So we will call the meeting to order of the ASDAC Housing Subcommittee. It is Tuesday, May 12th, and it is currently 11:10 a.m. Um, may I get a motion to approve the minutes from our 4/27
7, I think it was.
meeting? 4/27 meeting.
So moved.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Okay. And on today's agenda, we have to continue looking at the survey that we are trying to develop that we can then disperse out to shareholders, agencies, individuals, families, and anyone else that we might deem appropriate.
Would you like me to share my screen? I have it pulled
Oh,
up.
that would be awesome.
Okay.
Thank you. Because I know I'm trying to like split my screen and
You're gonna see like track changes from this morning and comment boxes. Hopefully I don't annoy this group, but I was really excited to see someone really put a lot of work into the survey. So it was amazing.
So just making sure you guys are seeing that. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. And I can zoom in if that's helpful. So the first section is kind of just what we had, a summary of what we had discussed last time. And then there's been some additions that we can kind of talk through.
Mhm.
Who added all the survey questions? I was thrilled when I saw that when I opened it up.
I had done some research and and again, it was a very, very rough sketch. So, but I just figured it would be good to have something like to work from,
No,
you know.
great. It was great when I looked at it. I mean, we're further ahead than I thought we'd be this morning.
Okay. And we can also decide the format. Like, do we want it to be like a click and answer kind of thing? Do we want both? Do we want spots where people like put a little click and click the answer or answers that apply to them? And then do we want to have space that's open for narrative? Like those were questions that I had. So um, do we want to have it be changing? Do we want to have different formats within the questions?
Who's what software will be used for this and who's going to administer the survey? Is your office OPM doing it, Tara, or how will it work?
I can do a Microsoft Forms. That's what I would have access to. So that is something that we could use.
Hmm.
And in Microsoft Forms, Tara, because I've never done a survey on Microsoft Forms,
I haven't either.
is there the availability to like structure questions in different ways, like one that could be a multiple choice answer,
Hmm.
where you're allowed to pick more than one answer, or ones that have open-ended, like you can mix and match?
It's basically the same as Google Forms.
Okay. Okay.
My only question about using Microsoft Forms is that if I remember correctly, it only transfers the data into like an Excel spreadsheet. Is that right?
Hmm.
Okay. So
Um, Maybe let me, while we're talking, I can look.
and also I think is it possible to make that anonymous when you do it that way?
Oh, great.
That I also I think you can not let me I'm logging in, so I'll tell you in just a minute.
Okay. I mean, I've only used them within the university wherein we're sharing information internally, so
Hmm.
people are generally identified. I mean, there might
Hmm.
have been an occasion where I can't recall whether it allows it to be de-identified or not,
Mm-hmm.
or if it's associated with your account. But anyway, my question does anybody have Qualtrics or anything of that nature that could be used
We
for?
have Alchemer, which is
Okay.
close to Qualtrics. It has all the different drop down menu
Yeah.
options, and
Yeah.
um,
Okay.
we do have that. And honestly I bought it because I was so unhappy with the survey format we used last year for different needs. And I think we used Google Microsoft Forums or whatever I don't even
Okay.
know. I just didn't like it. I'm spoiled because having come from a university environment, I had access to all the software.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
Mhm. And my apologies. I would also like to welcome Judith. Thank you for coming, and Megan and Christine. Christine, I know you had been on a meeting before, and Heather, I can see here as well. Um, so welcome. And if anyone is new for the first time, please feel free. My apologies. I was jumping in with the technicalities of Microsoft Teams. But welcome, and if this is your first time attending, we're happy to give you like a quick, summary to get you up to speed if that's helpful at all, or if you just want to listen, that's fine. And we welcome any feedback. We've been working pretty collaboratively together, so it's been a nice group thus far. So.
It is not my first time. I'm trying to think. I probably was one of the original people on the Autism Council. So I've been doing it a really long time. I just haven't made any meetings lately because of session stuff. But
Judith, have you been on the housing committee then?
yes,
Okay. Oh, great. Okay. Okay. Because I was newer to the housing committee myself, so that's probably why I had not known that you were part of it. So thank you. Good. We
sure,
will be happy to have you here. Feel free to pipe in at any moment.
it'll do.
So this is what I'm seeing as far as forms. So I can choose that anyone can respond. So that it says here that there is an anonymous response option.
Okay.
And then as far as question selection, these are the options. So you can rank, text, multiple choice.
Does rank mean like on a scale of 1 to 5, with one being this
Yes, you
and
can do
five being
that.
that? Okay.
Hmm.
And
Or
what
you
would
can rank the order that something goes in.
rank the
I,
order?
I was
Hmm.
going to say a one
The
to
term.
five is a Likert
Yeah.
normally, and the ranking is like what do you like best,
Right.
and what do you so like you
Okay.
could
Okay,
with a
okay.
Likert scale you could have I like all of them and they all get like a 4, but with a ranking then you have to choose hierarchically which one you like better than the other.
Mhm.
Okay. I see. Okay.
What is this, Google Forms or
This
Microsoft
is
Forms?
Microsoft
Microsoft
Forms.
Okay.
Forms. Yeah.
Hmm. So, just
Does it
wanted
generate
to,
reports? Sorry, does it generate a report from the results?
yeah, if, hold on one second. Let me just go to one that I've done in the past that I know has information.
Sorry.
So this is one that we did. I'm just making sure that there's no personal information. Okay. So similar to Google Forms, it'll give you an option. This is kind of how it just naturally comes up, but there is the um, ability to open it in Excel as well. So you get like a summary.
Yeah, I'm thinking of our audience and any accessibility provisions that this needs to have for people.
Hmm.
Maybe I'm getting too far in the weeds. I'm just curious about that.
Well, again, that's what I have access to. So if you guys have access to something else and want to use that, by all means, I don't have any issue with that.
I think the key is, as I think it was Carrie who asked this, is then like it will generate, like, because that's what we want to just make sure is that we get a something that's easily interpretable interpreted,
Mhm.
where we, will be able to gather information easily, quickly, maybe visually. Also, I would imagine that we may somewhere down the line want to present this at one of our ASDAC meetings, so something that's going to be able to um you know give us some good slides that then would be also understandable to the general population, things like that. So as long as teams can do that, I don't see, does anyone have any other pros or cons or thoughts about that?
Yep.
I'm not super familiar with teams, so I really have to like kind of look to others who might have more experience with teams.
Well, this is gonna sound super nerdy, but I I just think about it from sort of how you're presenting the statistics. So if you are just presenting the percentage, of folks who responded in a particular way, that's different information, obviously, than what would be the mode, in responses for a particular. It depends on the question you're asking and the answers, how you want to present the answers. So without getting, without sounding like too much of a dorky professor, that's what I would just suggest we use a platform that allows us to conduct the statistical analyses that we choose to. And maybe this allows us to transfer those data into an analytical system. I just don't know enough about it because I've only used it in the way that, Tara has just shown us, just for simple surveys on campus. So I couldn't speak to that, but I would just caution us to think about that in advance because you don't want to get a bunch of junk data that doesn't really tell us much of anything substantively about what the true questions are that we're asking.
Mhm.
So, Carrie, are there platforms that you've used that do make that transfer to more statistical data, or things that you are familiar with, or no?
I don't use this. I think this is what Toby was saying too, in terms of what is used on. I mean, we use Qualtrics, and Toby, we were talking about. I don't think I can offer our Qualtrics for this purpose. So I don't know if you have other suggestions, Toby. I have limited options here.
No, and I think it comes down, it's not like we have a budget to support our time on this work. So we could avail the Alchemer. We have the freedom to use it if it would be helpful. I would prefer it over the forms just for the transferability. Like I've used Qualtrics a lot in the past. And if we get into more advanced statistics to spend, depending on what our sample size is, to do subgroup analysis, maybe that's something, if I don't know if you use SAS or SPSS, maybe if we did the data collection, we could transfer a file to you to do more of the advanced statistics.
Yeah, we have SPSS.
Yep. It's a nice collaboration actually with different people pitching in.
Okay, so Toby, you're saying, I just want to make sure I understood. You're saying that we could do the form on Teams,
Not
gather.
not teams. I
Oh,
think
no.
if we went this way, so the one option is the format that Tara has available that she's used in the past. Another option would be to build it in Qualtrics, which is like a step down. I mean, Alchemer, which is a step down from Qualtrics, but a step up from the forms that Tara shared.
Okay.
It will have some canned reporting, basic analysis that we can produce right away to look at, the data and distributions and that sort of thing. But if we get a good response rate and we want to do some little more analysis using SPSS, we could export the data and send it to Carrie, who could run additional analysis, it sounds like.
Okay, so the Alchemer, does someone have access to that?
We have access to it.
Okay.
We bought a license for that.
And you would be okay to use that in this particular situation?
Yes, we
Okay.
could use it. Yeah.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Okay, that's really helpful. Okay.
And
The
I
other option is we could like focus on the form, the questionnaire, and then I don't know if we want to build it in both environments, but we could play around with it and we'd want to test it
Mhm.
within our team first to see, is it user friendly and is it the right flow and all those sorts of things, and then make a decision from there. That's another option.
Okay. All right. Okay. I just want to write that down, Alchemer, just so I can
And it's very disability friendly in terms of accommodations and accessibility. So it's well ranked in that regard.
that was actually going to be one of my next questions. So thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. Alchemer. Okay. Okay. All right. So then, does anyone have any other thoughts or comments about the idea of using Alchemer? And we can use the Alchemer license that Toby has. And then from there, there may be parts that then may be able to be passed over, as you said, Toby, to other agencies or institutions that may want to collaborate to break our data down further. Just wanted to stop there for a second to just check in with everybody and see if anyone has any other thoughts there. Okay. So then, are people comfortable moving on then to the goal of the survey and the survey questions?
Melissa, I just want to just mention, I think we can have the logo of the coalition on it, so it's not branded as coming from a particular organization. If that's a concern, we'd want it to be coming from the coalition.
Uh-huh.
So it would have a QR code. Like there are different things that we can do to get it out in terms of recruitment.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we'd want the branding of it to be representative of the coalition.
Okay.
So I can play around with that before our next meeting.
Oh, okay. Thank you. And I like that, Toby, too. You're right. I think, sometimes and especially in this day and age, I think sometimes people want to know, like, well, where is this data going and who will see this data? And perhaps, actually, now I'm thinking, perhaps do we need something like when we discuss the goals of the survey, do we want to have a sentence or two that lets people know, like, what are, like, who is seeing the data? Where is it? Where is it that you do have the opportunity to be anonymous if you wish? I think for some folks, they're feeling like that's really important right now. So we can also, talk about that as we're framing the goals.
Sorry,
Okay.
this is for quality improvement, and this isn't research, but is this isn't an IRB?
That's what I was just going to ask.
Yeah.
Some sort of research ethics board, right? I don't know
Yes.
if it's anonymous in all likelihood, right? But it's
Yeah.
still a vulnerable population that we're
Yes.
targeting. So that's
Yeah.
what I would be concerned about.
Yeah.
Um,
Same. Yeah.
so I mean, this is a really ignorant question, I suppose, but like, does OPM or some other state agency have that sort of board
No,
associated
because this
with
is not going to be like an OPM, survey. So this is, primarily ASDAC. So, um,
it, right?
OPM
So,
is just providing administrative support. So, and then I would just remind everyone, I mean, as we go down this path, we are already doing a formal needs assessment that will include questions on housing through the autism needs assessment. That is going through all of the formal processes. So, depending on initially, this conversation started as a way to gather quick information so that we were making informed decisions and getting community stakeholder input on what housing needs they have. But again, as we go down this path in some of these conversations, I would just putting that out there as a reminder.
Mhm.
Well,
because I don't
good
have the
question.
formal review process. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't have
Yeah,
like we have no budget. We have no um, you know, ability to do that or offer that.
I get that, but that what might be why it's important to partner with another institution wherein those things exist, because I do think that I don't know what acts you said something to the effect of like all the formal it's going through all the formal processes, but I don't know
Like
what that means.
state contracts.
Okay, but that's
And they would
a
have,
different
yes.
lane, right?
Hmm.
So,
And they would be going through their own
yeah,
IRB and as they're, doing that analysis for the state.
yeah, and with whom is that IRB affiliate?
It'll
What?
be with Rutgers.
Okay, yeah. So with an academic institution,
Hmm.
yeah. So if there were some sort of partnership either with an academic institution such as Southern or any other state institution, or then there is an IRB, right? Like I'm trying to think, what is it?
Exempt,
Yeah,
anonymous,
exactly. Yeah,
maybe
there would
exempt.
be that's
Mhm.
it, in all likelihood it would be exempt. However, we have to acknowledge the fact that these surveys are being sent to a targeted population. And so there is the risk of, we just have to acknowledge the risk, but in all likelihood, it would be marked as an exempt
Yeah,
study because it's anonymous. But
I agree. And it's, um, and we can say, oh, it's low risk, like it's anonymous, whatever, but like technically it's up to the university to determine if we've mitigated those risks to be exempt. But I agree, it would very likely be exempt.
um, and yeah, we're in the process of writing about 4 IRVs right now. So it's not like I'm looking to do another one, but I just want to acknowledge that it's probably best practice to do so, to cover our bases.
So what are the steps, Carrie? I'm sorry, I'm coming from a place of never
No,
having
no, that's it.
done this.
Why would anybody know that? Of course. Yeah, so basically you put together a proposal, and ours is an online portal wherein, like, if we were the partnering institution, there would be sort of a brief background presented as to the need for this research or the purpose behind this, and then the course of action, who the targeted population is, how the survey is structured, what the means for collecting data and storing data are, and then what was to be done with the data, ultimately, like what the purpose of gathering this data is and where the data will end up. So then it's reviewed by a body called the Institutional Review Board, which is basically a research ethics board that determines whether or not you've taken enough in the way of precautions to protect the identity of the folks who are, and as long as you're not putting anyone at risk for anything. That's basically the summary. But sometimes it takes a little bit of time because sometimes they can be a little, they want to protect the participants. So that's what they're charged with doing. So sometimes,
But in a survey like this, like we would have the recruitment email if we
right,
decide email is the way, or the QR code. And then
right,
before they even start responding to the survey, there would be language that would say, what's the purpose of this? Who's the
exactly,
information going? All the stuff you mentioned, Melissa.
Mhm.
And then typically with exempt, even for the disability population, it like just the voluntary nature of clicking next to go to the survey is often just the indicator of consent. So
exactly.
this is not a heavy lift, and I'd be willing to help you write it, Carrie. It's not this is not a major study. It's just a exploratory survey that's not for research, but we're just practicing due diligence to protect ourselves and protect the people that we intend to respond to this.
Mm, okay. 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 All right. That's helpful. Okay. So should we look at the survey goal?
And just full transparency, I did this like 10 minutes before the meeting. So this is like my first just like quick stab.
Mhm.
And I'm happy to rephrase or have other people rephrase it if you prefer other languages. Just a quick, okay, what are the goals?
Okay, so I can read it out loud just so we can all. Currently, in the state of Connecticut, there is a shortage of affordable, accessible housing for adults with autism that satisfies the spectrum of interests, preferences, and support services necessary to live in the community. The purpose of the survey is to inform the Autism Coalition and others so that improvements can be made in policy and programs. Results of the survey will be used to educate lawmakers, housing developers, whoops.
Providers.
I'm just,
Did the rest? Oh, there
I'm
it is. I'm
sorry.
sorry. There it goes.
Yeah.
Service providers, town, city governments, and other interest groups who have a role in addressing these concerns.
And it might be the language needs to be more plain language. I'm not sure, but it's sort of the intent.
Yep.
Oh, undo. Sorry.
I
That was
know.
my mistake.
I know one of the things that I read once was that I think I've read that like the Washington Post and New York Times are written um like in like sixth grade language, and
Yeah.
that it's when you want to get information out to the public, it's always a good idea to keep like a sixth grade language in mind.
Agree. Yeah,
I've
we
always
want
heard
more
that.
plain language for this.
Hmm.
It's my quick, what were we trying to
Yes.
get at kind of
No,
at
I
the,
appreciate I appreciate it. Yes. Yes. And then so what is the survey goal? And then, and then I don't know if we want to add that other piece that we were just talking about where will this information go, or you know what I mean? Or if that's under the goal, the goal will be, your answers will go to, if we want to be that direct.
I think it would be good to use this time, this is just my opinion, the time we have to talk about the structure of the questions maybe. And
Mhm.
then because if we move forward with an IRB application, we're going to have to address that and maybe save that for the next meeting.
Okay,
Just a suggestion.
that's fine. Hmm. Okay. Okay. I also don't know, like I know I have on my website that I alternate between person-centered language and um I'm sorry,
Identity first.
identity first language, due to the fact that I have folks, due to the vast variety of folks I see, I have some that prefer one over the other. I don't know if that's important to include a sentence about that. Just so
Good
that
idea.
folks understand that we might use both interchangeably in order to respect that there are different viewpoints and feelings on that. Um, just a thought. So, because I know like the first one says autistic individual, some folks want to be identified as autistic individual, others want to be identified as individual with autism. So I don't know if we want to put autistic individual slash individual with autism. I just always try to be very sensitive to the language, because folks have different feelings about that. And I know um, we've heard Yana speak at ASDAC committee meetings about
Mhm.
language and things. So I want to be very sensitive and aware of that. Um,
I think that's a very valid point to raise. And I think we can just put a short qualifying sentence in there that says, we acknowledge that not everyone
Mhm.
identifies,
yes.
or uses the same language. Please
Mhm.
know that our intention is such and
Yes.
such. With respect to the first one where it says, what is your role? I'm not sure I would phrase it that way. I would say, how do you identify?
How do you
Mhm.
identify?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
do you mean for this one? So the second question, I'm just trying to put my head in the space of an individual
Mm,
responding for themselves versus an individual responding on behalf of someone else.
Mhm.
So I'm more so I'm concerned with the individual responding for themselves that they read it
yep,
as about them.
yeah.
Mhm.
So, what is your age slash the age of, or for someone other than an individual. I'm not sure how we want to phrase it, but I'm kind of more concerned about addressing the
Mhm.
And
individual
again,
part.
right, and we may not, I know that Tara's consistently warning us not to get overly
Yeah,
complex, but that's what informed the conditional questioning. Like if it's the person themselves answering versus
Yes.
somebody else, the answers may be different or the drop downs might be different.
I was gonna say,
Mhm.
I wonder, Toby, if we can just kind of have two totally different phrasings, depending
Yeah,
on
Yes.
what you click, then it sends you in one.
yep,
Mhm.
So create a
Perfect.
caregiver survey versus an
Individual.
individual.
Mhm.
yep.
Okay.
So I
But it's
think
good.
that it's easier to, um, do you want me to kind of put section one, and if we
Demographic.
start
Mhm.
of individual survey, and then we can always work next time. If we start individual first, and then we can look at mirroring caregiver questions. Does
Mhm.
that make sense to everybody?
Mhm. Mhm. And I do think both for the how people identify and our sensitivity to it, as well as just good practice, I think it would be really good to include Yana. Is it Giannis? Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couple people with lived experience, not just parents and professionals, but self-advocates to like look at the survey and provide input into it before we go live.
100%. So Yana and Lynn are
And
the
Lynn just joined, so
Lynn
she's on
just
right
joined.
now.
Yeah.
Great.
So Yana and Lynn are our two individuals with autism who are on the committee.
Yeah, that's great.
So we definitely can run this by them 100%, absolutely.
Great. And they might think of other things that we haven't considered that are important.
Mhm. So it would say, what is your current living situation, or what is the current living situation of your do we,
Adult child or something.
your adult?
Or yeah, we have to figure out that language.
I was
Oh,
thinking that we would just do the individual first.
Yeah.
yes.
Like get your
Okay.
questions down and then we
Yes.
Great
can
idea. And then
mirror
we,
for
Agreed.
that's
uh,
a great idea. Hmm.
We're a very task-oriented group, I think.
Yeah. Yes. Task orientation is my strength. So
Mine too.
good. I know. So we're like, go. Yes.
I think on that one, aging parents, I don't know if this
Yeah.
survey that you provided on here took from another setting or whatever, but like it's always good to ask questions that have been previously tested, but like aging parents might be a factor that, and maybe that's not the right wording, but
Mm.
do you want to put lack of support services, or do you want it under there? You want it as a separate?
I think a separate, because lack of support services, a lot of folks are going to read as like they either are on the wait list for the waiver
right.
or they don't have access to the waiver. So I think it is important to differentiate that.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I put a comment in the chat about two things that I think are important to identify in the survey.
Oh,
Great.
hi, Lynn.
Hello, sorry I got on so late. I didn't realize.
Yeah, we see that.
Yes,
Socialization is very
social.
important. Yeah, and transportation.
Yes. Okay.
I think you need to identify that, because a lot of people who are individuals with autism don't have transportation needs.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So yeah, that's on there.
It's gotta be like on a bus line or able to have accessibility to getting around.
Absolutely.
So Lynn, I on the question where Tara is right now, there's one that says transportation access. Do you think that we ought to put in parentheses, like the example that you gave, access to a bus line or something like that, so folks could, do you think examples would be good to follow transportation?
I think transportation encompasses a lot of different things. You could have a taxi, you could have a regular public transportation, you could have the ADA van, you could have, like the dial-a-ride, you could have a lot of different, you know.
Right. So do you think that that bullet captures it though, that people will understand that's sufficient to address what you're saying, or you think we need to change that?
So
Yeah.
like e.g., like say taxi, comma, bus, comma, Uber, like a good,
Well, I don't know, it's like I guess transportation services, I guess, like if you read that, I guess if people would think that, you know, transportation access, I think is better.
Lynn, I just changed it to access to reliable transportation. Does that sound better?
Yeah, yeah, I think that's better.
Mm.
And then
And
you,
I like reliable in there
yeah,
because that
Mhm,
is a very good point.
it
mhm.
is. And then social isolation, maybe that is, sometimes we phrase things in a like a slanted
Mm,
way. So it's negative as opposed to, what challenges are you currently facing? Obviously, challenges suggest the negative, but so access to social opportunities,
Right.
like
Mm,
I
that,
was
maybe.
thinking
yeah,
the same thing.
access to social opportunities. Yes.
Mhm. And I was thinking the other thing, and I, so much of my lens can brings in my family situation with my daughter who lives at home with me, who would love to be in her own place right now. She wants her freedom to just be out of her parents' house. So whether that's independence or opportunity to live on my own or something like that. But these are
Yeah.
challenges. These are challenges though, I see. Mhm.
And I don't know if the linear scale then in number 5 needs to be very dissatisfied, somewhat dissatisfied. Like, do we want to spell out the 2, the 3, and the 4?
The survey software will do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Beautiful.
what do you mean by aging parents, caregivers?
And that might be more geared to the parents, but
Oh.
like my experience is that, parents who for people
I
who
mean,
live,
is this survey going to go out to different category, like different groups, grouping of people? Like, is it going to go like a different survey to like parents versus
yeah,
people who,
yeah,
like, are they going to tailor it to?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
yeah, we're talking about doing that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Because,
And
like, if you have that question, that bullet point on there, like, if you send that to a person who's autistic, like us, like 50s, whatever, that's not
Yeah,
suitable to us.
exactly. So we may
yeah.
not need it for this particular responding group.
And obviously all of these things are not going to be appropriate for everyone. So,
Right.
Right. For some
yeah,
people, they would check that because for
right,
some people, the aging parent piece is a huge stressor. And
right.
then for other folks,
Mhm,
um, you know, unfortunately, their parents have passed.
Right.
mhm.
So,
Do you mean like aging parents, like people who are like in their 70s and have children, like they're not going to be able to eventually like take care of them, whatever?
correct.
Is
Perhaps.
that what you-
Mhm.
Yeah.
I know that this is a point. I imagine that this came from thoughts that Yana has expressed repeatedly about a group, a subgroup of individuals
Yeah.
with whom she's familiar, worried about when their parents are, as their parents age and when their parents are gone, how that impacts their housing situation and other aspects of life too. But
Mhm. I feel like there's a lot of other challenges that should be on this list. I just can't think of them right now.
Well,
We'll have
this
more
is,
no,
opportunities.
yeah, you will, and we're meeting the second Tuesday of every month at 11. And so therefore if you can block that into your calendar, and then you also have access to this to be taking a look at it, in between the meetings, and so if it helps you to keep looking it over so that you can gain more thoughts and ideas, we absolutely welcome that.
Because I know like the transportation thing is a big piece, and I'm trying to,
Right.
and I think the other biggest piece is like the affordability. Because they're like, I feel like, I don't know, my perspective being autistic adult, like there's so many apartments and things being built now, like, but they're like $3,000, like. When people who are autistic, like they're not going to be working full time, they're probably on disability and they only get a small amount of money. And their
Yes.
parents are probably subsidizing their
Mhm.
living expenses, whatever, or they're living at home or, I don't know.
Correct.
Because I don't even know that there is even any, like, I know that they built like the one near Wheeler Clinic in New Britain, like they have a lot of people who like, individuals with autism there, but it's like a huge wait list.
Yes.
And I don't even know how much they cost.
They're very affordable and they're beautiful. I've
Yeah, yeah,
gotten
yeah.
I've
But
got
like they need to build like there's no other ones really beside that.
right. That to me would be a wonderful model. I mean, it also includes a washer dryer in there.
Yeah, yeah,
It's beautiful. It's
yeah.
amazing.
Oh, that brings up a point. Maybe there should be a part on this survey like what's important to an autistic individual to have in their in their unit. Like where they're living.
It's
That's a great
really,
idea.
it is, and you just hit the nail on the head. I think I said at the last meeting, I was part of a recent zoning conversation, and there were people of all different walks of life in this conversation, and there were some people who were like, the crown molding's important, and other people was like, crown molding, I just want a
Yeah,
basic
yeah,
countertop because I can't
yeah,
afford crown molding,
yeah.
so like I think,
Yeah.
again, we don't want to like make this super long so it's a burden to fill out, but I think understanding some of the preferences is helpful.
I
Yeah.
agree, Lynn. I think that's a great idea. Yeah,
Yeah,
keeping with
like
some.
some people like they like like to me like like having a washer and dryer in the unit than having to walk or get somewhere. Because I was in an apartment once in Middletown. You like literally had to get in your car, drive like all the way over there, and you put your laundry in, and then like you had to wait. Like I mean, usually I would just put it in and come back to my apartment, but it was a lot of like it would take like 3 or 4 hours for the
Yeah.
whole day. It's like so.
Yes, I absolutely.
But also another thing too, nobody added in here. A lot of people who are autistic, like I know me, like I have a dog, like that's very important to me.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's a
great
great
point.
point.
You never
Great
stuck in
point.
there anything about service animals or anything.
We're on the
That
same
would,
page, Lynn. I did add that later in the survey down below.
oh, you did.
I
Thank
did.
you. Thank you,
Yeah.
Toby. Okay.
Because a lot
Yeah,
of people it has to be a place that, people, you know, that you can allow, pets.
that's super important. Thank you. Lynn, you're bringing up some great
I
points.
know.
Thank
It's
you.
Yeah,
perfect.
because I'm fantastic.
Yeah, very.
What is the just maybe someone can share either online or offline what the spaces to which you or the apartments I assume they have to which you were just referring by
Hart Street, New Britain.
okay. And this is a model because I think if we know of models that seem to work for some,
Yes.
we should explore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
Thank you.
how, one other question too, like that, I mean, maybe you've already discussed it, like, after you get all this data, what are we planning on doing with this data to help to kind of get Connecticut to build other places that are under these guidelines?
Right. So part of what we've been talking about is there's a housing committee at the state legislature. So we've been talking about, can we connect with them to let the legislators who are involved in housing in our state, let
Mhm.
them know what, the information that we collect.
Because
Definitely.
it does no good for us to have all this data and then nothing happened.
Right. And we've definitely been talking about that, about our next steps of where they
Yeah.
want to go. And that information, I believe Tara wrote in the last meeting, all the places that we would want to see the information go. I think it's in the
Mhm.
I can always send it to you, Lynn, of the information that Tara took down last time.
Mm.
It's in the housing folder
Oh,
that's
okay.
this
But I
Microsoft.
also feel like maybe there's other people we could target besides just the state cat. I don't know. I would have to do some research
Yeah, that would be something to think. Yeah, definitely. Feel free to,
because
you
I
know,
feel like
think about
it's
that.
just too diff. Like they listen, but they don't listen. I don't know.
Mhm. Okay.
Like it's not priority for them.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Unless they have a daughter or son or something that's autistic,
Mhm.
then they're on board. But otherwise, they don't care.
Okay.
So yeah. So the animal thing, I know that there's got to be some other stuff.
Animal thing is really important. I agree.
I didn't even think about it until somebody. What else is there? There's got to be other stuff. You mean it like, yeah, like, oh, how about like religious? Anything in there about religion?
In terms of what? What are you thinking?
Like, I don't know, religious, like, I don't know, some people, I don't know, like, I guess housing, like, maybe a place like,
Proximity to religious services? I mean,
or like even like, types of people who live in the community or, I don't know.
You mean people of similar faith
Yeah, yeah,
living
yeah,
living
yeah, yeah,
together?
yeah. I don't
There is
know.
a section on community and inclusion, so that could be part of somebody's
hmm
community. So we could say
hmm
access it,
Yeah,
Yeah.
to
That,
or
that's super important to me, but I don't know about everybody else.
hmm Yeah, for opportunities for social connection, maybe opportunities for faith connection. I don't know if that would not if that
Yeah,
would be too vague.
do you think it would be in the first part or under the community and inclusion?
it'd be community.
The first part was challenges, right?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
challenges. So that's
So
why, because I saw
probably here.
opportunities for
Yeah.
social connection. So I was thinking opportunities for connection with individuals of similar faiths.
Hmm.
We could see if people respond to that, if that's something they feel is important.
And how about this? I think, can you add in here where it says walkability? I think you should add in examples like, like shopping, grocery area, like park nearby, or
Mm-hmm.
like that's
Okay. Mm-hmm.
because walkability could be anything, could be
Anything. You're
like
right.
getting around like where you live, like your neighborhood.
Yeah, a couple
Yeah.
examples would be good.
Yeah.
Just like we were talking about transportation too. It's like
I
Mhm.
agree.
cab, taxi, whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That would make
That's
it easier so they would be more apt to filling it out. You know what I mean?
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
The more specific we are, like, it gives them like,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if you have to put like quiet setting because some people don't really, some people want a quiet setting, some people don't.
Right. So some people will check that and then some people won't. I agree with you, Lynn. You're absolutely right. I think we have to put it on there as just to see what we get, in terms of how much will people?
Or maybe you have to like put the bullet, like get rid of quiet and put setting and then put bullets under it, and then they could check like the different types of settings. Like, do you want to be like in the city? Do you want to be like outside the like
I like that. I like the geography, urban,
Urban,
yeah,
Yeah.
urban,
yeah, 'cause, like
rural.
maybe
rural,
to be
suburban.
Yeah.
in like East Windsor, I don't know, like
Yes.
Island or like not, near the pond, near the reservoir. I don't know.
I have a hard stop, so
I do.
thank,
I was going to say,
yeah,
I unfortunately do as well. So, but that was awesome. Yeah,
yeah,
rural,
Lynn, your
urban.
feedback's great.
I
Yeah.
know your feedback's fantastic, Lynn.
Try.
This is great.
I'm just thinking because Lynn's point about walkability and that being vague, what
Yeah.
we might want to put something, this is just a placeholder, but it would be like sidewalks. It could be,
Yes.
Yes.
that sort of thing, as opposed to
Yeah.
walkability, meaning
Yeah.
access to a grocery store or something
Good
like that.
idea.
So
Right.
Yeah.
different,
How about,
yeah.
like I keep thinking of all this stuff now coming up now. Like how about like amenities at the place? Like some people I have a pool. I don't really use it that much, but like
Right. Like what would be?
Facilities. Yeah.
places have like a gym. Like that's
Yeah.
important to people of our like getting fit and being healthy.
Yeah.
So Lynn, what I'll do is I will make sure to share this very specific survey with you, and then we're all, as part of the committee, we all have access to this. So in the next couple of weeks, we can keep adding our ideas and our thoughts to this survey. And then our next meeting is Tuesday, June 9th. Tuesday, June 9th at 11 is the next meeting. But in between, we can all continue to take a look at this when we have time and put in our notes. And then we'll revisit this together when we reconvene.
But I don't know where you could put on the like under what section, Tara, like where you could put
You, Lynn,
like pool, like things, like a clubhouse at the place, or
Lynn,
Yeah.
some people don't care about that.
Lynn, you could put, my suggestion is you could put either comments in here or keep a separate document of all your ideas, because you have a lot, you're on a roll.
Yeah,
So
you
we
are.
can come back to it.
Well,
It's
I
amazing.
mean, but I might not be in a role tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
Right,
Well,
but you know what, Lynn? If you're
you
on a
never know.
roll now, you can always feel free to text me your ideas and I can add them in if that's
Perfect.
easier for you.
I was going to
Just
say, you can send me an email too, Lynn, and
yeah,
I'll
or
add them
send
in.
Tara an email. Like just keep going. Just keep
Yeah, it's
going
awesome.
if you're on a roll right now, and let your brain keep going, and then we can add it into the survey. Okay?
But those things I mentioned, you put down, or I mean,
Yes,
Yes.
they're already being put down.
okay,
Yep, they
okay.
are.
All right, everyone.
Okay. All
Thank
right.
you.
June 9th, we'll see everybody then.
And
And
I don't know, one other thing, I don't know, like I just thought of too, like I mean, but I don't know if that kind of gets sensitive, like the people want to be in a housing place, like is gender important, like mix like.
right. So yes, that's another good one. So yeah, and anything
But
else
I don't
now?
know if it's like a sticky situation. I don't know if that gets a little.
Well,
Two
that's
can
what
talk
we're
more
just
about it.
this
Yeah.
is just taking a big overview. So, okay, so we will reconvene June 9th and continue on our journey here. And thank
Okay.
you, everybody.
Yeah.
Our time is.
All right. Bye-bye.